Right guys, this is Marcus Keane from Telford Memories. As promised, I said I'll do a Ironbridge live video. So, still having the heat wave, still having the nice weather. I thought, why not? So here we are. Right, we're starting off here in School Road, which is the old part of Madeley, which once come under Madeley Wood. So here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down a completely different route to what some people might know. Some people might know the Madeley Bank route, where you go past the Golden Ball and the Horse and Jockey, otherwise known as Madeley Bonk. Right, so we're just going down here, just going past an old friend's house there. He used to live there. Hi, Dave Timmins. Don't know where he lives now, but not there. So here we go. As you can see, there's a few England flags out for the football at the moment. So we're just coming down School Road. And eventually we'll be going down into Ironbridge. I know this is something that some of the people on Telford Memories, some of the members who don't live in Telford anymore, the ones who are living abroad in the USA or Australia, New Zealand, Spain, Germany, all these different places, people who knew about Ironbridge and haven't been back for a long time and would like to see a bit of Ironbridge on here. So we're walking down. Just coming around the corner. As you can see, there's Roberts Road, which leads off down that way towards what was the Beaches Hospital, and also the White Horse pub. So we're coming down here now. I've got another friend who lives up there, Andy Williams. Down there is Harris's Lane. That's where they used to have a park, which us people sort of on the estates and things like that, we knew it as Ironbridge Park. And I think some of the locals knew it as Harris's Park. Let's have a little walk down here a minute. As you can see, some horses in the field there. There's always been horses in this particular field. Let's have a little walk down here a moment, just to see what's there now from what used to be there. The park was quite popular, especially during the 70s, where the kids off the estate would come down, the local kids. It's when everybody sort of mixed together. It was the local kids with the kids off the housing estates, and they come down to the park. It's a pretty impressive park, and at the time it had a roundabout. It had some swings which I think were called American swings or something like that. It had some sort of a name. They were quite unusual swings, not like the usual type of swings that you got. And also one of those like horse things where you could sit on there and it sort of rocked like a big rocking horse, but it was a lot of people could go on at the same time. Now I'm actually thinking that we might have gone past what would have been the entrance to the park. I'll just go a little bit further down. Yeah, I would say that the entrance to the park is no longer there by the looks of it. Because you've gone a bit down to the to Madeley Bank down there. As you can see, there's the fence there. That's the fence that was round the park. I'll just let it walk back up again. So it looks like the entrance of the park is no longer there, that used to be there. And just looking at the curb, I can see a little dip in the curb there, so I would presume that's probably where the entrance was. I see a bit of a dip there, so I'd say that's probably where the entrance to the park was. Let's go down a little bit. Bit covered over a little bit. Just slide on through. Yeah, and as you can see, this is where the park was. So from what I can remember, the roundabout which was in the park used to be up here. So you had the roundabout which was round about here. Down there is where you had the swings. If anybody knows what they're called, American something or other, it's just, they were unusual swings, there were sort of quite a few of them. And then you had like the horse, type of a rocking horse type of thing. It was a big, one of those big things where there was quite a few seats on it, had a horse's head on it, and it sort of went backwards and forwards. And I think there was also possibly a seesaw in here as well. I am going back a long time, sort of the 70s. When it stopped being a park, I don't know, but there'll probably be some local people that do know when it stopped being a park. So I would just go back up onto Harris Lane. Hello to the people that've joined us. So I'm coming back up Harris Lane up to the top. Now the route I'm going to take here today, which was a route that was used by a lot of the kids. One of the reasons being it was a bit of a scrumping route. For those of you that don't know what scrumping is, or not old enough to know what scrumping is, it's where kids knew where certain apple trees, pear trees, plum trees and things like that were, and would go along and what they call scrump the apples, scrump the pears. They weren't supposed to do it, but that's what kids did in them days. Right, so we're now going to go down what is called Orchard Lane. Just bear with me a moment. Just having a bit of water. Now Harris Lane's not really a steep hill, but when you're not up to your fitness level that you're supposed to be, even a little hill can take it out of you. Right, we carry on down here. I must say, this has always been a beautiful route, this has, into Ironbridge, so it's a nice little route, especially when I walk down. I've walked down with your family or friends or by yourself now. It's a beautiful route, especially in this weather. Because a lot of people probably, as I said, just know the Madeley sort of bank route. They sort of go down and you come into Ironbridge. This is one of those routes that tends to be one that local people sort of know a little bit more about than people who may live sort of a little bit further away in Telford. Now, as I remember, there was another friend of mine that lived down here, Paul Wyatt, who lived just over there as we've gone past. So a bit further down. So when you get to this point, you've got two other ways you can go. You can carry on down Orchard Lane, or you can go this way. And today we're going to go this way. And as I've always said on the other videos that we've done so far, Telford and the areas around Telford are very green, still very green, a lot of green areas. As you see, more horses over here. Some beautiful houses up here as well. Imagine living somewhere like here, sort of how peaceful it would be. If you look up there to the top, that is the back of Beech's Hospital and what become Lincoln Grange. Now, Beech's Hospital, originally, going way back, sort of Victorian times, was actually a workhouse. So it was the workhouse in this area. So I'll carry on down here. And as we go past here, I've just noticed something about Telford 50 on the fence. Let's have a look. This is to do with lodge and beaches. Identifying and recording dragonflies and damselflies workshop events. All events will be held at the pond at Beech's Field, LNR Ironbridge or nearby. So that looks like that's gone past. That's Wednesday the 2nd of May that was on. Let's see if there's anything up to date. So we've got Friday the 13th of July, 1:30 to 3 o'clock. Discover Dragonflies Part 2. A follow-up field practical looking at how the dragonfly season has progressed. Tuesday 24th of July, 5:30 to 7 PM. Dragonflies of Beech's Field. In evening, dragonfly walk to practice identification skills and plan future monitoring on the reserve. And then Saturday 18th of August, project final celebration. So now the details for this will be on the Telford 50 site. So let's get back onto the track. As I can remember here, I mean, there used to be some sort of big circular type of drums, big things. I don't know, it's like a water place or whether it's a gas place or something or other. But there's a bit of an industrial bit here, which is no longer there. They were there in this area, so maybe somebody knows a little bit more about that. So we're carrying down here. Evening.
Hello. Hello.
As I said, it's a beautiful place to walk along. And as you can see, people walking past with taking the dogs for a walk. Evening. Now, one thing that I'm not going to do on this walk is point out the scrumping areas, because no doubt people wouldn't want people to scrump their apples and things anymore. I wouldn't want to be responsible for starting a new trend of scrumping in the area. Alright, so we come down. Look at this beautiful view. So like that, the buildings down here are amazing. So I've come a bit further down. It's been a long time since I've been down this route. I think probably for this sort of thing, I probably need one of them cameras sort of put on your head or something that won't move about as much. Right, this is Woodlands Road that we're coming down on. As you can see, the sign over there, Hodge Bower. There's Hodge Bower, it goes right up there. And then that goes on to Belmont Road. The house there, the Laurels, that's been there a long time. I can remember that. I just thought what a beautiful name it was, the Laurels for a house. A Hodge Bower, a friend of mine that some people may know, called Brian Robb, used to have a paper round down this area. And one time he asked me if I would do his paper round for him. I ain't going to say the reason why. I'm not that cruel, Bri. But I did it for him a few times down this area. And this is where his paper round was, sort of around this area, the Hodge Bower area. It's only because I knew the area. So I'll have a walk down here. Now I know the Belmont Road has came up a few times on conversations to do with this area. So I'll just have a little walk down Belmont Road. And that looks like an interesting extension on the building there. I mean, look at the size of these houses, absolutely amazing. And I'll go as far as, we'll go as far as the red telephone box. Because you don't see many red telephone boxes anymore. So we'll go as far as that. I don't know if you can see that, the view over there. The view over there is amazing. So come down here a bit. I say, old red telephone box. Always good to get a little bit of history in. You see down to the gorge there. What a spectacular view. Right, let's get back on the track. Just before we go past, we'll tell you a little bit about here. What you got here is you got the 9 Men of Madeley, 1864. Former Malthouse opened as a parish workhouse in 1796 for around 40 people. It closed in 1874 and was converted to houses. John Tranter, who was killed in the 1864 disaster, lived in nearby, and it's now a private house. And that's this building here. Evening. So I'll just carry on with the tour. So we're just going to come back to the road that we were originally going to go down. So just coming to the end now of Belmont Road, which meets on to Hodge-Bower. As you can see, an apple on the floor. Say no more. Right then, back we go. Now these hills, believe me, are quite steep. Better going down them than actually coming up them. Right then, so here we come to a crossroads. And then carry on down this way. There we are now, back to a bit more of the gorge. What an absolute stunning view. Right on our doorstep. Yes, people, we do still live in a green area. I'm sorry about that pause in a moment, because the trouble with these devices is you get all these people coming on trying to sell you stuff. Right, I'm just going to back up here because I think it's not a particular road that I'm sort of trying to get back onto. Just bear with me. Now further on back there, I said when we come to the fork. What? Bear with me. What's this sign on here? Any person who omits to shut and fasten this gate is liable to a penalty not exceeding 40 shillings. 40 shillings. I'm presuming 40 shillings is quite a lot of money. Or would have been in those days for people. Ah, yes. I can see down the bottom. I can see what is sticking out, a little bit of a public house. So on my route, there shouldn't be a public house yet. So I'm presuming that is possibly going to be either the Horse and Jockey or the Golden Ball. So it looks like we're going to go back up. I did hope not to climb too many hills. As I said, it's much easier going down the things than it is coming up them. As I'm walking along, I just want to say something to a friend of mine who I mentioned earlier, Mr. Dave Timmins. Well done, jockey. Cycling up to the top of the Wrekin. Not bad, guy. Not bad. Considering the last time I went up the Wrekin, I only got as far as the halfway house. Right then, that's where I walked down before, wasn't it? So I'll just go back up here. Just a dry run would have been a good idea. But then again, where's the fun in that? After all, this is a live feed, it's happening as it's taking place. Also, on Telford Memories, there are a few what they call them, links on there for Telford the Ultimate Guide. As you know, anybody who's seen Telford the Ultimate Guide, some stunning videos on there. Right then. And this isn't the part that I was coming to, was it? Let's see. I think it was a bit up here, wasn't it? Up another hill. You do know I'm going to need another drink of water in a bit. Right then. Here we are, back to the top. Right, just bear with me. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to move over here a little bit. Just going to put the camera down a moment. Just bear with me. Evening.
Evening.
Right then, so we're going to resume the walk. Right then, so as I said, as you can see, there's a sign Hodgebauer. So this time we're going to go down the right road. Just bear with me. As I can remember as a kid though, I think this part here was something that used to get us all the time. We'd end up going down the wrong road. Because you go down the one, it takes you where it goes to. And the proper one goes to where we want to go. But it's a bit of a maze, this part. So, hopefully, we're back on track. So if you want to come down this route, remember the correct route. That is unless you want to end up on Madeley Bonk. So here we come down. Now one thing you all know is where we're going to come down to eventually. And that's the bit that a lot of people are probably waiting to see. See, these are buildings that are sort of untouched. They'll probably still be here another 100 or 200 years' time. Nice solid buildings. Trying to think of the history of the building actually, this one. Quite an old building. So the buildings down here, there's absolutely stunning buildings. You can see how old the buildings are. Some of the chimneys on the buildings and the architecture of the buildings. Sometimes they've got a little plaque on sometimes, which tells you how old the actual building is. I mean, as you can see, that one's got like it's got a cross on it, so I presume it's some type of religious building. Also, you got like a face there on the actual building. To be quite honest, the face actually looks a bit like William Shakespeare. Probably not William Shakespeare, but then again, you never know. So a little walk down here. Let's just have a look at a couple of the buildings down here. Actually, it's been a long time since I've been down this area. Yeah, some really stunning buildings. Let's get back up. Actually, coming back up, you can see a bit more of the building as you come up. Don't want to point it too far up because the sun's sort of beaming over the top. As before, I'd like to apologise for my heavy breathing. I've given my lungs a bit of a workout, I think. Now hopefully when we come over here should be able to see the power station in the background, or the cooling towers. So here we are. Unfortunately the sun's gleaming over. Let's see if we can get the sun. Don't think we can. I was hoping to get the sun out of the shot so that you can actually see the cooling towers in the background. Don't think you can, but there's cooling towers, I don't know if you can see them. So let's just carry on down here. Just bear with me before we move a bit further. As you can see down the bottom there is the Iron Bridge. Not recognisable for what it would have looked like as you went past, with all the scaffolding and things on it. But there it is in the beauty of the gorge. And I always think Ironbridge looks its best, or the area looks its best in this type of weather. Let's go back en route. I think we're probably going to pass quite a few people tonight walking about. You're coming to stay a few bungalow. Evening. Now this is the road I wanted to come down onto. As you can see again, the towers in the background, and then here we've got St Luke's Church, and even showing the time. Twenty to 8, and still gorgeous weather outside. Yep, another view there. Look out for a major view. Let's get down onto the through the entrance. Just take a view and down there, people. Alright then. So I'm going to do two things here. So what I'm going to do is, just bear with me. So just come onto the grounds of St Luke's Church. What a beautiful church, eh? What a beautiful church. Such an iconic church in this area as well. Such a beautiful place. Right, you've got a bench here where you can sort of sit down and admire the view. Wow, look at that. What more can you say? Let's see if we get a bit diagonal with the actual bridge. Would you say that's pretty straight with the bridge? I would say that we're pretty straight with the bridge. Now imagine the people that would have come up here over the years. People who would have come to the church and probably come out to church on a Sunday and would stand here and look over and would look down into Ironbridge. They would be looking at the bridge, as you can see it. It's got scaffolding at the moment, but they would have seen the bridge. And the bridge would have been like a reddy type of brown colour. It would have been a little bit flatter than what it is there now. On the other side of the bridge, there would have been somebody collecting the toll for people to actually go over the bridge. And if my memory serves me right, I think it was 1936 when they stopped traffic going over the bridge. In 1936. So no more traffic after that, so it's just people going over the bridge, and they collect the tolls from the people going over the bridge. Over the other side you would have had the train station. And the train station, the building you can see over the bridge, that's the you've got the station hotel over there, obviously named after the station, after the railway station, because with it being there. That one's seen quite a lot of activity over the years. Can you imagine it? Steam trains. You would have seen the steam trains coming along there on the track and stopping at the station. People getting off at the station, people getting on at the station, and then the train carrying on. And hopefully, one of these days, they will return some type of train travel back into the gorge. Now, wouldn't that be amazing? We've got some sort of a bell going off somewhere. I know it's not the clock bell because it's not 8 o'clock yet. What an absolute stunning, amazing view. You know, how lucky are we in Telford to have this on our doorstep? What an amazing place to have on our doorstep. You know, who really needs to go to the seaside when you've got this? Right, so we're going to continue now. So we're going to come to the next part, which is how many steps down to the square. So we're going to, if my memory serves me right, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, as I can remember, I think there's 122. So I think it's 122, so let's see if I'm right. So I presume we start with the first step, which is what I'm on now. So we're just going to start with the first one. So that's 1. Then you got 2. Then you got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.